A new day. Yeah, we hit the road just before noon, and frankly, neither one of us had any specific plans to visit any specific place in Saskatchewan. As it turns out, any actual sightseeing we did in Saskatchewan we were going to do on our way back, so remember to come back and see that video as well later on.
As for this part of the journey, we ended up basically... Ladies and gentlemen, the Traveling Wildberries. Driving straight through. Actually, we did see a couple of things.
One stop, after driving about 3.5 hours, was the Living Sky Casino.
Uh-oh. But it seemed like a good place to camp out for the night. It was just off the highway and close to the Walmart in case we needed any supplies.
We went into the casino and tried our luck, but it wasn't meant to be.
We really didn't need any major supplies at Wally World, but we decided to take the half-hour walk over there. You know it. Steps, steps, steps. Just for the fun of it.
When we got back to the RV, we heard there was a storm on the way, so we stayed close by.
Turned out to be quite the storm, with high winds shaking the RV around quite a bit.
The winds kicked up a bunch of sand, which was in the lot near where we had parked, so even though the breeze was nice with the open window to deal with the heat, we had to close it anyways.
This is when we noticed the rain producing this weird electrical looking effect on the window. It was a pretty intense storm, but it didn't last too long. We went to sleep shortly afterwards.
In the morning, we were back on the road. With only about a half the province left to cover, it wouldn't be too long before we were in Alberta. That said, we did get drawn off the highway at one point by this sign saying, Fort Walsh and Cypress Hills Massacre.
We drove down quite a ways thinking it was not going to be too far off the main highway, but just when we began thinking, okay, may not be worth the detour, we came across this little B&B ghost town.
Kind of interesting idea for a B&B. As you can see, each little rental unit had some kind of Western theme to it. We decided that this was going to be the turnaround point.
On the way back to the highway, I spotted the sign, Cowboy Church. Ken just had to stop and grab a pic.
Our next stop, a few hours later, was just off the highway at this church in Alberta. And since it was almost 7 p.m., we headed over to the Walmart motel just up the road and stayed there for the night.
I think we're Walmart groupies. Anyways, in the morning, we headed over to a park we scouted on Google Maps called Coulee Park. Wow, what a nice park. We spent the whole day there.
Yeah, we played backgammon and cards on the picnic table, and then we enjoyed a nice lunch.
We then went for 2 monstrous walks covering most, if not all, of the park and then some. When we got back to the RV, we met...
He told us the reason he started making these little cars was because as he got older, he now needed the use of one of those little electric scooters to get around, but he hated the stigma attached when you see someone with one of those. So in true entrepreneurial spirit, he used his talents for making things and turned the sad-looking scooters into these cool little replica cars.
Quite ingenious, don't you think?
I have to say, I totally agree with him when it comes to that stigma. I always thought to myself I would hate having to be forced into having to use one of those little scooters. But now that I know about this, boy, that changes everything, if I do need one.
After chatting for a bit, Ken and I sat by the fire for a while, then left to go back and sleep at Wally World Motel up the road.
Ciao for now.